Hello, my name is Abraham Klein, and today I'm actually here in the Salzburg Borough Office with Mayor Karen Cumberledge, where we will actually be having a town hall on September 30th. That's a Thursday evening at 7 p.m. here at this building, where we will be having, as I said, a town hall between the two candidates, Mayor Karen Cumberledge and her opponent Douglas Cole, where they will be answering different questions for those of you who have them to get to know them a little better. And, any questions and concerns you might have for their potential administration as the mayor of Salzburg. And right now, as I said, my guest today is the current mayor, Mayor Karen Cumberledge. And so we're going to ask her a few questions, get to know her a little bit for those who may not be familiar. And so we'll go from there. So, Mayor Karen Cumberledge, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine. How about you, Abe?
So far, I'm doing pretty well.
That's
pretty
good.
well. I feel underdressed, but
No,
regardless,
that's all right.
we're still
No,
here.
that's okay.
So, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those who may not know, tell us a little bit about your background, where you come from, who you are, all that good stuff.
Where I come from is right here. I actually was born and raised in this area, went to Salzburg schools, graduated. I'm not going to tell you the year, but I graduated, went to IUP, got married, and my husband and I moved out of the area for a while. We lived in Ligonier for about 25 years and then came back here because my mom needed help because my stepfather had passed away.
Oh, okay.
And it was just very fortuitous that the house that Mike Kelly and Dave, his partner, lived in came up for sale, and it's beautiful. So we were able to buy a fabulous house, and we're very happy about being here, and that's when we came back, and we've been here since then for 11 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, I remember back when you guys, I'm not sure if it was when you guys officially moved here, but I remember when you and Terry actually became members of council.
Yes.
And we officially met then. I think it was at a council meeting.
Yes.
And got to know you guys then. And it's hard to believe it's been 11 years already.
I know. He's actually been on council a lot longer than I have because I didn't get on council until I guess though it has been 5 or 6 years for me too.
Okay.
But we had only lived here for a year when he decided he wanted to be on council. So he's been on council for a while.
Okay. So going back to, I guess, your time, you graduated from Salzburg High School and all that stuff.
I did.
What all did you go for when you were in college and stuff like that?
Oh, I was going to be an education major. I had planned to major in speech and hearing therapy. But when I was in college, I guess I started working, and sadly I enjoyed having money of my own, and I dropped out of college. So I have to confess, I don't have a degree. But I was going to be an education major.
Okay, all right. Well, that's very nice.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, my mom, I think, at one point was planning to go in a similar direction before. I think she had my brother or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, all that aside, so tell us about. Since you guys have moved here, what's it been like for you? Being here in Salzburg.
Oh, I love it. It's great because this is where my whole family is.
Okay.
And it's like a lot of people come here because it's favorable interest rates on loans and stuff to get cheap mortgages. I came back home. My whole family is here, and it's really wonderful to be around family again. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that we kind of forget about when we go away. You come back and it's so welcoming, because sincerely, I lived in Ligonier for 25 years and never ever met my neighbors.
Oh, wow.
No, really.
Yeah, and that's hard to do in Salzburg.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
It was tragic. But the first week that we were here, not only had everybody in my family stop by, but all of the neighbors came over to say hello and introduce themselves, which was really great.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Salzburg. It is a super friendly, really nice kind of a town, and it's just nice being back. You kind of feel like, I feel very invested in the community because these are people I really do care about. Mm-hmm. And it is unusual, though, at times because there are people here who have literally known me since birth. And sometimes I'll hear things about myself that are sort of like, oh, really?
Oh, you know that.
I don't remember that, actually.
Oh, okay.
But, so you can have those kinds of moments. But generally speaking, it's been great. I think this is home, and we have been very, very happy being here.
Okay. And you mentioned about the investment. Tell us a little about some of the stuff that you guys have done since being here in the community. Obviously, you mentioned Terry's been on council for a while. You eventually got on council and have been mayor was it 1 or 2 terms now, or how long has it been?
I finished out a term when Mayor Rocco resigned, and then I had to do a 2-year term of my own.
Okay.
This November, I will be up for the first time for a 4-year term.
Oh, okay.
So this one is a little bit different. I mean, it's
Right.
going to be different in having an opponent, for one thing.
Right,
but
yeah,
it
because
is-
nobody's had, as we mentioned before,
No,
nobody's had an opponent for a long time.
And that really is,
uh,
nobody should. I mean, sincerely, it's one of those things that genuinely nobody should ever run unopposed. It
Yeah.
doesn't serve the public that well.
Very true.
Everybody should have opposing views to investigate, to look at, and make sure that the person you're asking to do this job is doing the job you want them to do.
Right.
So,
But as I mentioned, as I mentioned, Terry, you guys have been on council, you've been mayor. Tell us about some of the other stuff that you guys have done. I know in recent days you guys have been doing the farmers market and Oktoberfest coming up. Talk about some of the other involvements that you've had in town.
oh, well, just generally, we try to stay involved with everything we can. We did the music festival a couple of years ago, which was great fun. With COVID, though, shutting so many things down,
Right,
it was
yeah.
really, really hard to come up with anything to do to keep people's morale up, because that
Yeah.
was tough. We had to cancel some things that everybody really looks forward to. We had to cancel a Canal Days, which was heartbreaking, and different things like that. But since then, I think, I'm just trying to get into as many things as I can. My job, I feel, as mayor, is to make Salzburg just a better place for everybody. Not just the people who live here, but also for people who are coming in to visit us. And I know that some people think that, that these festivals and things are not that important, but they actually are, because that's a really important thing for our community to participate in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also an opportunity for all of us to really shine when visitors come here. And we get so many positive comments from people who come into town, like for farmers market.
Mm-hmm.
They just love it. And
Yeah.
they get the idea of what a cute, fun, nice place this is.
Yeah.
And it really is. And I think sometimes when you live someplace, you begin to forget. You don't necessarily see what's so great about where it is you live.
Mm-hmm.
It takes other people to come in with that perspective to point it out to you
Right.
in terms of, this is really a nice place.
Right. I think you're trying. Oh yes. I remember, as some of you may not know, I'm actually running as a borough council member right
Yes,
now. So unfortunately, because of that, I cannot be the moderator. Even though I believe I'd be impartial. I believe you guys think I'd be impartial, but
Yeah.
it still wouldn't look right, me as a candidate doing it. So with that, we are looking for a moderator at this time. But with that being said, when I decided I wanted to run for council,
Mm-hmm.
a question I was asked is, why in the world would you want to do that? And so I guess a good question probably folks would ask is, why would a person want to be on council, let alone mayor?
I think that is a really, really hard question. I think most of us do it because we're just drawn to the idea of doing something for the community and becoming more involved.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, though, I think you have to do it for a little while to actually discover what your purpose is.
Mm.
And it takes a little practice, because there's a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
You don't jump onto it. I know when I joined council, I sat here for the longest time. I felt like they were speaking Greek. I had no idea what they were talking about. And it really took a while to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do, and I think it's when you start getting into the groove of it, you do find your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find that. You really will.
Yeah.
But as far as why you do it, you know why you do it. I'm doing it the same reason. You're just drawn to
Right.
this idea of, it's good, people need to do this because it's just important to be involved in the community, and our involvement in the community can help other people stay engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably the most important thing we do, is keeping other people engaged as often as we can, as much as we can. What you're doing here, I think, is great. Again, it's a way to keep people engaged.
Yeah. And so speaking of the potential, right now, you guys are, I don't think so far, I don't know if there's any, it's not like the president or anything.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
it's not like there's any
Hopefully.
fisticuffs, hopefully, right? With this election, if elected, what are your plans? I know you've been speaking of some stuff during some of the council meetings. Aside from maybe you can even mention some of those things. But what are your plans as mayor going forward if reelected?
Well, we want to continue with a lot of the things that we have been doing, like the farmers market, which I'm extremely proud of because that has worked really well. And getting some of these other events like Oktoberfest to become a annual yearly thing because we can kick off our year with Canal Days and, well, actually we end up our year with the Festival of Lights, the Heritage Holiday Committee Light Up Night and all of that, which is awesome. I love all of those things. But other things that we're planning to do, we've got a lot of things, that are going to be happening that are like sewer water remediation, things that are quite boring, but they are happening.
Well, they still have to be done, right?
They still have to be done. And that's the thing, it's a fairly unglamorous kind of thing. The stuff that matters isn't particularly fun or interesting, but
Right.
I am trying to work toward getting us some grants that we can use for some projects around town, and to do some improvements to the playground, some improvements down along Canal Park, which would be things like landscaping and trees and benches, and as well, we are also going to be doing like Oktoberfest, we're going to be taking some of the money that we're earning on that and putting it toward the canal, getting the canal resealed, and
Nice.
different things. But trying to get those kinds of grants to get that money here, because there is money out there. There is a lot of money right now floating around to do all kinds of projects. And I think that those are the kinds of things, though, that can make the community feel a little bit hopeful with this school thing. I do think that a lot of people
It has been quite a I would say unfortunate and probably uncertainty at this point.
It is, and I think it's one of those things that everybody is sort of feeling like a little doom and gloom about it. And I do think that it's up to me and the council to present to everybody that we still have a fabulous community here. We have a great community. We still have a future. We still got a lot going forward. So it's important for us to attract programs and things here that are going to give us that sense of moving forward and seeing a brighter, better future, even if it does not include a school in our community, which, that's sad. I'm losing my school. I'm an alumni of, my sisters and I were talking about how it's like we're an alumni of a school that may not exist. So,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I would say that's it.
So, Thursday, September 30th, that's when the town hall is going to be happening. People have the opportunity to ask a lot of questions. So, take yourself back for a second. Imagine that you're not mayor, you're not running for mayor.
Okay.
Imagine that you're just a community member.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that you would want the mayor to consider or want the mayor to do if they were mayor? I guess whatever you would want to do, I guess, but think about that.
I think that's the thing, though, is I'm kind of probably doing all of those things that before I started as mayor, I was thinking, this is kind of what we need, and that has been the direction I've been going.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, I've got this amazing council, and I do have to stress that. The mayor really isn't the force here, it's the council. And we have a really, really great council. And they have been very generous and very wonderful, and they've worked with me on a lot of things. So the council gets the credit for anything we've done that's good, but I do think the things that I am doing are probably the things that I would want to see done. More community stuff, like festivals and things. Well, you and I talked about this one night, how we thought it would be really, really fun to have a community theater.
Yeah, right.
And, that kind of stuff I think is really neat. And those are things that used to be here.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have, at least they had a drama club, and I don't know I think they did put on plays, but, to get that kind of stuff, because that too, along with a school and things, but there are a lot of ways to have community identity and to feel part of something. And those are the things I want to do. And as a voter, I think that would be important to me, to see things that provide that engagement and community identity. Because I think as a society at large, we've become sort of isolated. We don't spend as much time with each other, maybe, as we should. And I like encouraging people to go out, spend time with each other, having conversations rather than just screaming on Facebook.
Yes, which we've actually done before.
Yes, we have.
But all in good fun, though, right? In the end, we
well, there's the thing, though.
Yeah.
At least we've had the opportunity, though, to meet and speak and learn about each other in terms of nobody is just that person. You're really not. You know, a lot of the stuff that, and I've tried to be a lot more conscious of that. You know, it's like before you spew, really think about it, because do you want people to have that opinion of you? So,
Yeah. So, I guess in closing, folks, September 30th, it'll be Thursday nights at 7 o'clock here at the Borough Council building. If you live in Salzburg, hopefully you know where the borough office is. I believe it's 320
Point Street.
Point Street.
It's on Point Street.
And so if you don't know where it's at, well, you got to vote here, so you should probably know where this is at.
Yeah.
But anyway, Thursday, September 30th, 7 p.m. here, we're going to be having a town hall between incumbent Mayor Karen Cumberledge and the, almost said running mate, opponent, Douglas Call, who is also running, and in time we'll also have an interview with him as well. This has just sort of been a refresher, I guess you could say, an opportunity for folks to get to know a little bit about the candidates before we actually officially have the actual town hall. So in the meantime, folks, get your questions. You can message us here on Facebook, Salzburg News. You can also text or call me at 724-599-6974. Better text a question than to call, but either way. Or you can message me on abrahamkline@gmail.com. That's abrahamkline@gmail.com. So we want to definitely get the community involved. Lots of great questions for the candidates, and I'm sure they'll be glad to answer them. So with that being said, Mayor Karen Cumberledge, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And we look forward to the town hall meeting coming up again, September 30th, here at the borough office, Thursday night, 7 p.m. And we hope to see you there, and yins have a great day.
Bye.